The citizens of Rwanda, if they are not now free to come to Uganda, we should ask ourselves, why did we issue this travel advisory in February? Are the causes of this travel advisory now solved? So the situation is still there. We have, as you have heard from my colleague, we are yet to agree on the situation of Rwandans still being arrested and tortured in Uganda. Actually, this travel advisory was issued in February this year, but before that, we had spent, I think, more than a year working with our Ugandan counterpart on those individual situations of people arrested and illegally detained. So at some point, we had to take our responsibility and ensure that we request our people not to put themselves in harm's way. So we are still discussing on this issue of Rwandans being arrested, and the moment, of course, we'll resolve that situation, then the free movement of people will resume. Regarding the border closure, we have stated in the meeting, actually, His Excellency President Kagame had said it in Rwanda after the signing of the Rwanda MOU, that when people who are business people, who are trading, who are carrying goods, are systematically arrested, are tortured. We have counted, I think the figure was discussed in this meeting, that since January 2018, we have more than 1,430 people who were dumped at the border, Rwandan border. When we have that situation, we can't say that it promotes trade when those people who are doing business in Uganda cannot do business in Uganda because they are arrested. This is, in our sense, a kind of border closure. So we need to first solve the issues, the causes of the situation, and then I think the trade, free movement of people will resume.
Why people are detained? Because we think that they had been on an infiltration exercise, but that one we shall continue to discuss and find ways around it. Now, as you heard the Honorable Minister, he says the safety of Rwandans is intertwined with Rwanda's closure of the border because they think their own citizens are not safe here. We do not believe that this is a matter that cannot be overcome. We believe that trade, as members of the East African community and members of the other trading organizations, we should remove any obstacles to trade while dealing with the issue of safety of our citizens. I want to repeat, we have no difficulty in releasing people, but we must also discuss and end this issue of the attempted infiltration of our agencies, because that's the only cause. We have no reason whatsoever, and Uganda will not, as I said at the beginning, try to subvert the government of Rwanda. We have no reason, we have no benefit, we have no cause. I thank you. Yield at the border by Rwanda authorities was discussed. We think that it is a matter that should stop, although we think about it, because some of these are very petty crimes that have been committed, maybe whether it is smuggling or crossing border on their on foot. We think the killings were unfortunate and condemnable. And we hope that nothing like that will happen again. As citizens of Rwanda free to come to Uganda, I think I'll leave that matter to.
Discussed indeed. And we have well explained. Actually, we had communicated to our Ugandan counterpart when this regrettable incident happened. It is an issue of smugglers who were using non-official border posts at night, and who resisted arrests and attacked the police so that the police had to defend itself. So this is an unfortunate incident, of course. Those smugglers using panya routes at night didn't facilitate that situation, but it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation, and we believe that we should work together, Uganda and Rwanda, to ensure that we promote trade, legal trade, and the use of legal border posts instead of allowing this kind of trade to happen.
Rwanda had its own issues, which it raised, and Uganda raised its own issues and made proposals on how we can resolve them. But we believe that there is still room for further consideration of these mechanisms as well as methods of resolving these issues. It was pointed out by both delegations and agreed that in order to succeed, the most fundamental thing to restore is good faith and confidence in each other. And we have agreed that this is some common understanding that this needs to be done, and we should find ways of restoring goodwill and confidence between each other. The areas where we haven't found commonality will be further discussed, and indeed we will be talking to our different administrations to see how we can move forward. Issues in the memorandum of understanding that was signed in Rwanda, which are largely the issues of refraining from actions conducive to destabilization or subversion in each other's country, to protect the rights and freedoms of nationals, resumption of cross-border activities, promote comprehensive cooperation, establish a technical ad hoc committee on implementation, and the extradition treaty between our two countries. We have had lengthy exchanges on all these topics and went into deep detail, and in some areas we found common ground, but on others we agreed that we shall consider them further and even consult our heads of state to see if we can continue to work upon them and eventually resolve them. Rwanda had its own issues, which it raised, and Uganda raised its own issues and made proposals on how we can resolve them. But we believe that there is still room for further consideration of these mechanisms as well as methods.
Tesa, we mostly agree that there is progress in the amendment of extradition treaty. We had received amendment from our Ugandan counterpart, and we are reviewing them, and we believe that we'll agree on a final text. On the issues that we have discussed, we are yet to have an agreement on the way forward, but we have different proposals that came from this meeting, and we will continue consulting with our heads of state and see on the way forward.